with MrTruck.com at the Detroit Auto Show. It is so cool. We're checking out all the cool stuff. But when you're here, who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters.
Come see them.
We're ready to believe you.
Yes, they have lizards. Lots of lizards running all over. Boy, he's got to be hot in here. Would you call me? Would you call me? So, where's Fred and Wilma? This goes along with all the dinosaurs that are loose. This is too cool. They wouldn't let me sit in it, see if I could pedal it, but yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, Ford's got a big booth here. No idea. It's some kind of a people mover. This was in the lobby. Well, the Ford guys, I saw what Ram was doing the last few years with Jeep. They got all kinds of trails to drive on. They get Racer Raptor. You can go sideways. You can do all kinds of cool stuff. This is just part of it. It's a pretty tall ramp, though. And I don't know what it was. It looks like about a 30% grade up and down. Of course, they're using that trail control that they have on these Broncos. But yeah, I didn't have time to go play. I had to run the camera. Now this shows you how much articulation you get with these Broncos. It was twisting quite a bit. And Ram on the Jeep side, on the Wrangler side, they have some of these too. Of course, Ford had to be a little more extreme than Jeep to get noticed. You know, this is a big show. And of course, besides us, you know, the journalists here today or this day, they've got all kinds of people come from all over just to watch all this stuff and take the rides and see the dinosaurs. And I just missed President Biden. He came in the first day, which I thought was kind of weird, the most important day, and he gobbled up 3 hours of what we had. So I couldn't get enough videos done. And I talked to the Secret Service, and they locked us all away in another room. I guess we had food there, and that was about it. But, oh well, look at this puppy. Get that wheel off the ground. It shows what that Bronco can do. Wow, another wheel's off the ground. This is just too cool. Makes you want to just run out and buy one, I think. But yeah, they had a lot of stuff in one small little booth. But it was interesting. It's been a while since I've been to the Detroit Auto Show, the North American Inter. Yep, you can even drag race the lightning. Look at this, they got a tree and everything. There he goes. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Lock up the brakes at the end. I guess that's how it works. Okay, here's another angle of what this Bronco looks like climbing over these little obstacles. And it does. It's for, I guess it's independent front, rear's solid axle. Showing you just how much twist and rock and roll these puppies can do. But yeah, just love to watch the wheel come off the ground. Just love to watch journalists with cameras walk in front of me. They don't care. They don't see me. They never see behind them. They just keep getting in my way. Usually I bark at them, but these guys, there was too many of them. And they're on the other side of the fence. But yeah, I watch them climb up this thing. It's the same kind of thing. I don't know. I haven't looked it up, but it looks like a 30% or more. It's pretty good. Of course, they got traction. It's not a rough surface or a smooth surface. It is a rough surface. And that puppy just walks right up it with that crawl control. Pretty cool. Now this was interesting. They got a 1-ton dually, and it's backing up to this weight. It's on a giant derrick with all these big pulleys. It was kind of neat to watch, but they didn't tell you exactly how much it was lifting. It was, it's marketing. They got a big kinetic rope on there, big tow rope, and watched how far up it would go, and see if it'll lift this weight. We got a big giant derrick they got. There's giant pulleys top and bottom, and there's what they're showing. It could lift. Of course, it's not lifting that now. It's all for show.
The main show floor is now closed to all production media. Please, if you remain on the show floor, make your way as quickly as...
Now, I know it's hard to hear that, but it's over the loudspeakers. If you made out any part of that, it was telling all of us journalists that the first day of the big show, the most important day, we all had to leave. They gave us about 4 warnings, and they got mean about it. I was talking to some of the Secret Service people there, but this is when President Biden came to tour the big show, and you know, we lost 3 hours of time. I should be doing videos, but oh well, that's what they wanted to do.
Don't go away, Mr. Truck.tv. We'll be right back.
Came on MrTruck.com in Detroit from 2022.
Oh yes, the Hummers, the GMC. Great big electric heavy puppies. This is the SUV version. Of course, the pickup was there. And you probably already heard about what happened to Roman driving in his brand new Hummer that he bought for $115,000. Electronic went nuts. It locked up, you know, and he almost was smashed. He was in a rainstorm in a turning lane, and a policeman pulled up behind him, turned his lights on, keep everybody safe. But yeah, they tried all kinds of things to try to get it to run again, and they finally found the manual latch to open the hood and disconnect the battery, and then they got it working. But they called it a car wrecker and looked through a lot of manuals, and it wasn't a pleasant day for him. Here's a frame that all these sit on, these GMC electric Hummers, and whatever the SUV is called. But it's quite a thing that they make, and that battery takes up the whole body pan. But yeah, it was interesting. It's nice to see this kind of stuff and try to understand it, I guess. Now, what in tarnation do you think this is? I know it's got a Lincoln emblem on it, so it is some kind of a Lincoln. But look, the roof opens up, the doors swing way out. I guess you could use this to rake your hay with it, because that's about what they look like. But if you want to park it someplace, it'd have to be an abandoned parking lot so you can get the doors open. But anyway, it looks cool. I guess that's what you know, one of these kind of vehicles are. They just want to get you excited about something in the future that might come and have parts of these parts on there. But man, look at that. The door's about the same size as 3 doors. And you know, the back wheel, of course, I guess that means the body has to shift because the back wheel ended up getting tucked in there a ways. So it has a lot of moving parts on this, and it looks cool. I mean, it's a showstopper, which is what a lot of these shows are about, getting people into traffic so they can talk about what might come in the future and what it might be based on. But yeah, it's a gorgeous car. It's just, you know, it's a one-off, and you'd have to own a Walmart parking lot just to park it someplace. I thought this was an interesting Chevy Colorado. It's a ZR2, and it's a special package. It is a, wow, look at that, Desert Boss. Yeah, that's all you need to do to make a new truck anymore is just get some decals.
Okay, we're here at the 2022 Detroit Auto Show called some NIAS or something.
Oh yeah.
And this is Colin Gillespie?
Gillespie.
There
Colin
you go.
Gillespie.
You're really close. And we're checking out this thing. Goodness gracious, we don't even know what to call it. Is it a Sigma 6?
Yep, that is our nickname for it. There's a lot of names for it, but essentially this is an eVTOL, so electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft.
Wow.
It takes off like a helicopter, flies like an airplane.
What's ASX mean?
ASX is Aerospace Experience Technologies.
Wow.
So we are a very small startup located at Detroit City Airport. And this is kind of our big unveil today.
Did you fly this in here from the Detroit airport?
We joked, but it would have saved a lot of time, that's for sure.
Yeah. So it's like a helicopter and the wing folds forward and it becomes an airplane, huh?
Exactly.
Wow, I see where it's got the flaps and all that. Now, the wheels, are they really thick, are they? Because, you know, helicopters can land on anything. They don't have to roll unless you want to roll around.
Yeah.
The White has tires?
Yeah, it's really just for moving around the ground.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And then you got all these different pods you attach to it. So you got passenger carrier, just I suppose go out and have fun.
Yep.
I saw the ambulance, and this is cargo on this one?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. And you got this contraption with electric tires on it that rolls all around?
So it aptly named the skateboard.
Yes.
Yeah, so the whole purpose of this is this autonomous robot basically handles either a passenger pod or a cargo pod that we have here. Imagine you have a fresh set of batteries, you have all your boxes, all your Christmas gifts that have to go across the state, all loaded up. This robot automatically drives up all the way around to the aircraft, plugs right up into the center, The aircraft's then ready to go, takes off and flies wherever it needs to go.
Cool. How's it attached? Is it like magnets or latches, or is it mechanical?
So
or?
very similar. It's a big cargo container. It's essentially just a cam lock.
Oh, okay.
Solid
That's easy to
attachment.
understand.
So you have just 4 attachment points to.
Oh yeah. So how much weight capacity can this puppy hold?
So right now we're looking at about 2,000 pounds for our production intent model.
Okay. Well, that is really cool.
Yeah. So you're not doing semi-freight or anything, but think of like a car, like a box truck or anything, or like a cargo van.
Right. Wow. So, but these wheels aren't electrified. They don't roll, do they? Just with
No.
the propellers make it happen?
We're thinking about it. It would be a lot easier to push it around, that's for sure.
Yeah. Wow. So what's the flight time on this? I mean, where in the world are the batteries?
Oh, that's like asking for a flight time of an electric car a few years ago. So
Yeah.
realistically, we're looking at probably about 100 miles of
Okay.
flight distance. But that really varies on what kind of batteries you have in here. That's one of the challenges that we're facing right now, and a lot of automotive companies are facing as well, is batteries, energy density, everything along those lines.
Wow, that's a lot of propellers.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the whole purpose of why it's set up like this is to be very simple, especially compared to a lot of other aircrafts. A similar helicopter that can carry around the same weight is probably going to be a lot more complex and 3 to 4 times the amount of cost as something like this.
Yeah, even one of those, what are they called? They're called the Rangers. Trying to think, the most common helicopter is a Jet Ranger. Is that what it is?
I'm not sure, to be honest. Not the head.
It's the one. It's the most common. You just call them Bell Rangers or whatever. But yeah, those are. I know those. When I last asked, they were 7 million. So I'm sure you're in a few millions here.
Actually, a little bit less.
Really?
Yeah. So numbers were. It's hard to say. Just like any other project, around 1 to 2 million is our goal. Don't quote me exactly on that. But honestly, a comparable helicopter that can carry the same amount of weight, 6 to 7 million. Honestly.
Yeah. That's. They're all pretty, and those are pretty hard to fly. You know, this would be much easier to fly with.
This is just a button, honestly, but a lot more on the back end to control these. But that's the idea. A lot of people, I mean, Tesla is all about autonomous cars and everything.
Sure.
So why can't we bring that into aviation? And a lot of people are afraid of that, and rightly so, right?
Oh yeah.
It only flies
They're in
as
the
good
air.
as the guy who programmed the computer. But honestly, you just need more people to be involved in that. The more people that are all about autonomy, autonomous aircraft, autonomous vehicles, autonomous everything, the more experience everyone will have, the better the technology will advance, essentially. It's kind of the best way I can explain it. And especially, and honestly, if you've ever been on an airline, 99% of that whole flight was done by a computer.
Oh yeah.
So it's
I'm
really
sure.
not that crazy. The crazy part is how do you have multiple autonomous aircraft fly with each other? So it's not just an aircraft, it's not just a pod, it's all the logistics and planning and infrastructure behind it.
Well, yeah. So instead of filing a flight plan, you're just file out with a grid. You're north and south and east and west and all
Exactly.
that stuff.
Say, hey, I have this aircraft. I'll enter the aircraft number. I want to go from here to there. Plug that in. It takes off, and everything on the back end coordinates with any other aircraft and such to go to where it goes to go to its destination.
Well, that's cool. I mean, does that go through a control tower, or is it just all done on computers in the basement?
Honestly, a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
A lot of that is in development because there isn't anything for that right now. You have your air traffic control, but there's people in those airplanes where a controller can tell, hey, flight so-and-so, turn left. It's a little bit different once you have a computer doing these things.
So right now, would you have a pilot in there now, since you can't really talk to the tower?
For prototyping, this is all radio controlled.
Oh,
yeah.
Somebody on the ground's flying it.
Exactly.
Big
We have a little
screen.
ground
Yeah, I
station
saw
kind
that.
of hidden in the back over there.
Yeah.
So that's actually what we use to do our test flights. So we actually have this whole thing as sits actually has flown.
Wow, you could almost roll it out the door and take off with it.
Yeah. We've actually been asked in this. Look, we're just happy to be here.
So do you actually have, I mean, that's a cool picture of the one with the ambulance. Do you actually have one built like that that is
No,
about to be
what
used?
you see here is what we
This
have.
What you have?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, so you probably already been on Shark Tank and all that stuff, huh?
It's everything you hear about a startup. We're a startup to a T.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Well, that's cool to have all these options, and if you got the price down there, I mean, you put the helicopters out of
Gives you
business.
honestly a lot of freedom to make things the way you want to make them.
Well, yeah, well, you know, helicopters don't really have like autopilot, or not that I know
Helicopters do.
of. Do they do now? Because a long time ago, a friend of mine was the one who developed it with Boeing, and they were having a hard time trying to figure out how to get that stick that steady and all. Because you got so many different gyrations you're doing with a helicopter, but this is just an airplane. So it's got to be a lot easier to do this. Wow. So you're looking for investors now, or you guys just?
Yeah, exactly. You know, we're starting a new crowdfunding campaign. If you're ever curious, I fly ASX.
Fly Alaska. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. That's and you needed this many motors to make it happen. 'Cause it's 6. That's a lot of motors.
Yep.
Wow.
Part of that's because it gives you redundancy. You can have one motor fail, and you can keep on flying.
Yeah, and part of that I was trying to figure out because there's no like rudder or whatever, no ailerons unless that's an aileron to make it,
Yep.
you know, tip. That's an aileron.
Yeah. So
You got the flaps.
yeah, what happens is just like in any other aircraft, you have your flaps and your ailerons.
Okay, so yeah, and I've seen some Pipers and stuff with that kind of a tail on them. So because that's not so sad. So now when you, so that would steer,
So
but you
yeah,
also.
the tail will turn as well.
Oh, really?
Will move as well.
Wow. Oh, I see. It tips. Okay, I see. So these, do you steer with the motors? More power, less power?
You steer
or-
with everything.
Steer with everything.
So
Good.
as you're in drone mode, I like to call it, basically any other hexacopter flies up and each motor spins up, slows down as it needs to, and these will, the flaps and ailerons can actually turn to help you off.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, because you know that's how they build jets with 2 engines. They can do without one and just use all the flaps and
use
the
the
rudders and
differential
all
thrust.
that and go sideways. Well, that's cool. So now do you have to have this pass through the flying guys? Was that the
FAA regulations. That is a huge thing that us and a lot of other eVTOL companies are dealing with right now. Because just like the infrastructure to fly this, it doesn't exist. You have to make it, you basically have to develop it as you go. There's a lot of rules and regulations for a fully autonomous aircraft that honestly don't exist.
Yeah.
So how do you design something that doesn't exist? So we're doing our best, along with other companies, to work with the FAA to develop all the regulations and the rules so that we're all managed appropriately.
Well, that's cool because I'm getting my drone license. You know, the 7, whatever it is, Chapter 7.
Yeah,
So I can fly my little one. Yeah. So yours, I'm sure, is a lot more complicated than that.
Actually, not so much. Not
Really?
Honestly,
So I could fly this sometime, huh?
technically, yeah.
I'll get my little 7 and
Take it from the computer.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wow. But that is, so it is there cameras all around so the screen the guy's controlling with
There
can
will-
actually see different things besides just the front or
There
whatever?
will be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that'd be cool. You can see somebody
Sensors,
sneaking up
radar
behind
sensors,
you. Or,
sonar, everything.
yeah, I'm sure you got to have all that sonar to tell you when get close to a plane or
Exactly.
some other drone out there
ADS-B
flying
out.
around. Wow. Well, this is the biggest thing here at the show, I think.
Yeah.
And it's so cool.
Absolutely.
So you have had these in the air, though, right?
Yeah, so the wing itself that we call it actually has flown. We had our
Wow.
first flight about a week ago.
Well, that's cool where it's remote controlled and autonomous. That's just awesome. You guys are way ahead of the game.
Trying to be.
You got any competition at all yet?
There are some other companies. I don't want to.
Well, yeah, I don't
Names
know
of
the name. I'm just weird. I've never seen one before, so I was trying to figure out how that works.
Yeah,
Wow.
but there's another 2-seater electric VTOL that's over there. That's on the end. It's orange.
Oh.
There's some other companies off record like Joby, Archer, who are making electric VTOLs.
Right.
But there's nobody really going for this size of aircraft. If you look at a lot of eVTOLs right now, they're going for 2-seaters, right?
Yeah,
Kind of like a
yeah.
sports car. But we're going for cargo. We're trying to go for logistics and such.
Well, that's great. You got so many choices of what you're going to haul.
And
with
even
it.
not that. Yeah, that's our secret sauce. Our special
Yeah.
sauce is we have these detachable pods.
Wow.
Okay, you can go fly grandma to the store real quick, or you can fly your groceries back.
That's it. She got a whole parking lot that's empty she can land in. Because this probably takes up 30 feet just to get it in here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like I was wondering if we would land these on aircraft carriers or something. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to work out. That's good. I hope you guys got plenty of fun so you can hang in there so it all works out, because it's going to take some years.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, this is good. This is awesome. Awesome project. Giant cables. So where did you say the batteries were? They're not in the pods, are they? Are they in the centrifuge?
If ideally, we're actually these tubes, they're actually pretty much hollow in here. There's very little structure in here, and the idea was to put our batteries right in here.
Well, that's cool. You want it close to the motor. That's good. You can't be having 50 feet of cable. Wow. It's impressive.
Yeah. But what I really should say, in the future, for production aircraft, we're actually planning on putting the batteries in the pods themselves.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, how does it run until you get the pod on there? I guess it just sits still.
So imagine you're loading up all your food or anything that needs to be shipped out.
Yeah.
Well, while you're loading up, this thing's sitting here, so why can't it charge?
Yeah.
This thing's out doing whatever it needs to do. It's flying, flying whatever mission it needs to do. But the pod itself is charging. You push a button, you're ready to go. It comes up fully loaded, fully charged, comes to the aircraft, plugs right in. Now you have a fully charged aircraft that you can go fly. Yeah. And it uses whatever energy it needs to, detaches its pod, picks up a new fully charged pod, does its next mission.
Wow. Well, that makes sense. You get a lot of it figured out. Well, I appreciate
just making it happen.
Well, you're a young man, so this is going to come true before you get to my age.
Oh yeah.
So you're doing good. This is the N2025. That's the model, huh? Sigma 6.
Yep.
Wow, just too cool. And Mike, you're the big cheese here, are you?
I'm one of the team.
Okay.
It's a solid structural rear axle drop-in replacement, so you don't have to change any of the chassis, don't change the brakes, don't change the suspension, and our E-beam drops straight in.
Wow.
And that there is a 170 kilowatt E-drive on the front. That can run as four-wheel drive, or we can disconnect it from the drive and use just the rear E-beam.
Cool. Well, but I mean, you know what a full floating axle is, right?
Yeah, this has semi-floating.
Semi-floating. This is one bearing on each side?
Correct.
Okay.
For the bigger trucks, we'll probably full float.
Yeah.
So this is a scalable design up to class 6 trucks.
Oh, that's pretty cool. 14,000 pounds? But not on a 20. That's what the sign says. You tow 14,500 pounds.
Correct.
But that's not a dually. It's 2,500.
Correct.
So how does the brakes and the springs and everything else work for that?
All works very well. So we wouldn't do that on the highway. That's for testing. That's for us.
Oh, that's just maximum.
We test all of these to destruction. So part of our tow, this is a no compromise solution. It's a real work truck. It's going to be used for towing and hauling everything that our workers can do today. So the standard 2500 truck, we can tow and haul as much, if not more, than the stock truck.
Like 12,000 or whatever.
Well,
it is.
yeah, correct. There's videos here of it towing 10,000, but my engineers have been towing 15,000 pound trailers.
Yeah. Well, that's great. So there's no gas engine in this truck at all?
No, we bought it as a new 2500 Sierra, the AT4. We stripped out the V8 gasoline system, all of it. So engine, obviously exhaust system, fuel tanks, everything stripped out, and we replace it with 2 E-drives. So
there's no 10-speed transmission anymore?
Correct, it's a single-speed drive, which is this unit just over here.
Wow. Well, that's interesting.
So this vehicle, although it was designed and built for towing and hauling,
right,
its 0 to 60 is 4.2 seconds, and that's an 8,100 pound truck, faster than a Tesla.
Wow.
Because I drive a Tesla, and this is
weighs
a bit
over
faster.
8,000, yeah. So it weighs more than a diesel did originally.
Correct, yeah, big battery.
Right.
The axle is only 60 pounds heavier than stock.
Wow.
But the battery adds weight to the vehicle overall. Overall, the vehicle is about 600 pounds heavier because of the battery.
Well, that's awesome. So what's the range pulling a trailer?
It's going to be it's going to be similar to a gas truck. It's going to be about half of what it is without a big trailer.
Yeah, but you might have a 36-gallon tank on a gas truck.
Correct. Yep.
So what's the...
My personal view, this is personal, not Magna. These vehicles will come with a range extender. So they'll probably have a 300-mile battery plus a range extender that will allow you to drive infinitely on either gas or diesel, depending which range extender is used.
Well, because that's the problem with, I like hybrids, but, electrics, they go 100 miles pulling a trailer, they charge for an hour, they go 100 miles and they charge for an hour, and that's the biggest problem.
I think this will probably have a 150-mile range with a trailer.
Oh, with maybe a 10,000-pound trailer?
Correct, I agree.
Oh, okay, well then that's improvement.
Agree?
Yeah.
But I still think that anyone that's operating a work truck that doesn't just work locally, if they're going to a different state, they're going to need a range extender, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, if they're towing a trailer, definitely. Because that's the only problem with these electrics is how long you can pull a trailer. And then they get the semis, they're going to have half of the 53-foot trailer is going to have to be battery to make that work. That's just kind of crazy.
Well, there'll be fuel cells. The semis will be fuel cell.
Really? Okay. Well, that makes. I like fuel cells. I like hydrogen.
Yep. Let me show you the
E-beam. Show me this axle because that's what stands out the most.
And even play video while you're talking to me. So this is exactly the same as the one that's up there on that 2500 truck.
Okay.
Electric motor. It's a hairpin motor.
Right.
In here is the torque multiplier.
Kind of like a torque converter.
No, this multiplies the 600 Newton meters that the motor makes, and it can put out up to 10,000 Newton meters at the wheels. So it's a torque multiplier, but it's single speed.
Okay.
So there's no gear change, there's no clutch. This is just a single speed torque multiplier.
Okay. Well, this is the transfer case, so we're on this side.
There's no transfer case.
There is no.
Again,
four-wheel drive. How do you do that?
We have a separate e-drive in the front.
Separate. Okay.
If you need it.
Wow.
So this is a single speed. We can change the ratio in here from 12 to 1 to 17 to 1, depending what our customer wants.
That's kind of, I was thinking why it was a transfer, but that's cool. That's a big gear, bull gear.
If you mind your fingers, you can actually, it's real. This was one that was turned into a showpiece, but it's a real E-beam.
Wow.
This particular one has a separate power electronics inverter.
Yeah?
Some of the OEMs want it separate. Excuse me. We also have a design that integrates this right into the axle. So in the back here will be our power electronics inverter. It depends. Some of our customers want it separate, as this truck is, but many of our customers also want this power electronics into the E-beam itself.
So will this charge a house or any of that stuff, or is it just all for power in the truck?
This wouldn't be applicable to that. So this could provide the energy to charge batteries. So during deceleration, kinetic regen braking, this is a very powerful generator. So yes, this will fill up the battery again on regen. But whether it's used to power a house is really the OEM's job and the way that they integrate the battery.
Wow, so is GM the only one you're working with so far?
We're working with all of the OEMs.
Or you are Ford's coming out with two and Ram?
But obviously can't comment on who we're working with or what the program.
Oh, you can tell me. I won't tell you, buddy.
I think the difference with us is we really do have a no compromise solution. You can tow and haul with our solution everything that you can tow and haul today. It really is a true work truck.
So your battery's lithium ion, or is it nickel, or was it like?
Magna don't make batteries. It's the one thing on the vehicle that Magna don't make. We pretty much make everything else.
Well, you probably subcontracted from somebody.
We did. We subbed it out. Yeah.
So what kind of battery?
It's a power battery, and it's only 85 kilowatt hour. So it's not big enough for the range that we need, but it's there just to demonstrate our e-drives, which is what we're showing on that truck.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. That's always the controversy now, on the hybrid from Toyota, it's nickel. Ford, how long range is nickel, and the rest of them lithium ion. And, you got the fire problems, you got all that stuff. So hopefully they got enough mining contracts bought, and Ford's buying up all the guys all over the world to make that stuff. So, wow, that's interesting. So this conversion, what's the conversion cost on a 2500?
We really don't do conversions. We're a tier one, a major tier one. And we supply direct to the OEM. So
you buy it from GMC or whoever you're working with?
Correct, yeah. We did this conversion just to demonstrate our products.
Okay.
Wow, any idea what the retail is on it?
Not yet.
Dealer?
Not yet, no.
$1 million?
Needs
surely not. Probably 50,000.
Needs to be affordable. Needs to be affordable.
It has to be an extra 50,000 at least. Wow, that is awesome. I mean, this is cool. You guys get the battery thing figured out. This may be the future.
This is the future. I'm convinced.
You're sure this is the future?
Yeah.
Okay. And you do make one with a full floating axle.
Yep.
That's sneaky putting an 8 hub on like a full floater. It's like it has the bearings in the hub, but the bearings have to go out here.
We've had to design the whole thing to be scalable from class 2 to class 6.
Oh wow.
So the motor, the gearbox and the inverter, we can scale for all those classes of truck, right up to class 6. I think it's over 28,000 pounds Gower. So real heavy loads, towing and hauling.
So is GM consigning you to make some of those 650s?
No, GM haven't made any announcement on who's going to be their supplier yet.
Okay. Yeah.
We chose this truck just because we make transfer cases for this truck. We know it well. So for us, it was relatively easy to use. GM had nothing to do with this truck.
Wow.
This is a Magna truck that we purchased and we converted.
Cool. Well, it sounds interesting. I still like hybrids because I understand them and I can go get gas and go. So this is a little bit of a leap, but anyway.
I drive a Tesla. I've been driving it for a year now. I've got used to the charging and the range, and I'm very happy with it. Even my wife has lost her range anxiety, which is a great thing.
Yeah, well, Tesla's got them all over the interstate.
I've only used it twice, though. I've only used the Tesla supercharger twice in a year. I charge at home and I plan around it.
Well, that's interesting because, you know, I understand them in the city. I think they make sense, like delivery trucks make sense.
Yeah.
But on the highway, I worry about them a lot. Yeah, I interviewed a bunch of electric tractors last week out of California. That's cool. Now that makes sense because they're the field's right next to your barn, or supposedly. You don't go very far, run out of juice. And then they got a slide-in battery, take the old one out, and slide in another one. So that I can figure out that would work and get rid of all the noise and all the smog for the horses' eyes when you're cleaning out their corrals and the dairy cows.
There's a lot of bad publicity about EVs running out on the freeway, and it's just rubbish. The feedback the vehicle gives you about your battery state of charge is 1,000 times better than a gasoline gauge or a diesel gauge. The accuracy of it is absolute. And the vehicle can monitor all of the electrical systems, and it gives you feedback. It tells you turn down your AC if you want to get home without charging. It tells you exactly how much energy you've got left. It says reduce your overall speed if you want to get home. That kind of feedback is absolute. So you shouldn't have range anxiety, or you shouldn't run out of battery unless you are not concentrating on what you're doing. I was going to say something else. That's probably the nice thing to say.
So you've also probably put a giant screen in the dash, or is that?
Yeah, unfortunately we can't access it because of security today. This was all open, but there's a big head-up display. We have different drive modes similar to other EVs. So we have a dynamic, a sporty, a conservative drive mode, and all of those. So we can run it in 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive, or we can disconnect the front drive automatically. So if we sense the rear wheels slipping, we can transfer torque and start and connect the front drive and then deliver front torque.
Okay.
So it's completely controllable in a way you can't do with an existing vehicle.
If you get rid of the transfer case, like what you said, that would save you a little bit of weight.
Correct.
Not a dramatic amount, but you know what Ford's doing on the Lightning is, of course, they have that beam me up Scotty thing where they can do upgrades to your truck on the go. And they actually, every Lightning they've sold or driven, there's data on what trailer and what the grade was, how much the trailer weighed, and then they can calculate all that if you can make it to the next spot, which is nice, but that might give you 5 miles or something. It's not going to give you 100 miles.
No.
So there's a lot of things that they're working on, but once the range is done, then these are going to take off like hotcakes, and they'll probably all be leases because nobody's going to be able to afford them. So it'll be like leasing a semi, that's what it'll be. Wow, that's pretty cool. Well, thanks, Mike. I appreciate your time. I'm going to make you famous and put you all over the world.
Great, thank you.
My lithium battery camera.
And that's the show. It was awesome. A lot of cool stuff to look at.